There's never been a better time to be a white-collar criminal in America, as prosecutions have hit a new low under the Biden administration. What a surprise! I remember. Again. This isn't politics, God forbid. I'm not a right-wing conservative. I'm simply making a statement that tells you what are the balls and what are the strikes. Under the Obama administration, right? His promise was, Wall Street has stolen $8 trillion from us. I'm going to do something about it. Remember the campaign? Yeah. I was actually on talk shows telling people that vote for this guy because he's going to do that.
Get the handcuffs ready.
Get the handcuffs ready was my pitch when I'd go on MSNBC, wherever I went. I was all for it. I was so excited about it. Man, this guy's really going to do something. How did it end?
It didn't happen. And then, of course, because during the Obama years, we did see a decline in these corporate prosecutions. Trump came along, the decline went even further, and every year of the Trump administration, you and I did a segment when this same report came out. I think Public Citizen is the one who does it. They're phenomenal with it. And we talked every year, they're down from the year before. Trump's not prosecuting these people. Okay, well, now we got a full year of Biden under our belts. Same report comes out and says, hey, guess what? As bad as Trump was,
1%.
as bad as Obama was, things have somehow gotten even worse. Only 90 not even prosecutions, you could call them.
No, they're investigations.
90 deals, really,
right,
to let you off with this corporate leniency, as they call it now.
Why, again, I'm going to throw this out there again until you're tired of me asking these questions. Why? Isn't it the same issue that the politicians are afraid that they're going to lose money if they go after the people that have the money? Regulators are looking for jobs. They're never going to do what has to be done. Corporate media most of the time is totally asleep at the wheel, or they have some big advertising advertiser spending a gazillion dollars on NBC or CBS. They're not going to do a story like this. So where does it stop unless we have a Department of Justice that takes it on themselves and just goes after these folks, right?
Well, the problem with the DOJ is usually even much worse than we see at these other agencies, because you get stacked with these lawyers who come from these law firms that, oh, you were just my client.
Right.
Last year I was in court defending you,
right,
and now I'm not going to go after you.
Right.
You're my buddies. We went golfing after I won your big case for you.
That's so true. Remember the HSBC story we did?
Yeah.
Okay, HSBC washing money for terrorists. We're handling that case. We are the people handling that case where the banks were washing money for terrorists. HSBC signs a 16-page document. In there they say, yes, we did wash money, billions of dollars. Yes, we knew that human lives were at risk, contractors' lives from all over the world, soldiers from all over the world at risk. We knew what we were doing. We understood where the money was going. It's right there in 16 pages. They admit all of it. Do you know what was done, Eric Holder, under Obama? You know what happened? Nobody was even criminally investigated. Nobody went to jail. They fined him $1.6 billion. Yep. Who paid for that $1.6 billion?
Most of that gets shifted back onto the taxpayers through all of these loopholes and clever accounting methods. And of course, they made way more than $1.6 billion off of the money laundering, so they profited from it. Nobody goes to jail, and that $1.6 billion fine just becomes a fee at that point.
The number was $100 million. $100 billion is what they made.
So 1%.
Yeah, 1%.
That's your 1% fee, basically, for doing crime.
Okay, so here's what is happening now. We have bid rigging going on from Wall Street, insider trading, lying to investors, spying on American citizens. Big tech is out of control, and this administration is asleep at the wheel. Now, Biden, in his mind, he might think something's happening. Who knows? I don't know what's going on in the guy's mind, but nothing is happening.
Right, and it all comes back to Merrick Garland, which, of course, is why many years ago, I think on Free Speech TV, you and I sat here doing segments about why Merrick Garland is a bad pick for the Supreme Court. Because he's a big friend of corporations, terrible on environmental issues, and he's no different, even worse, actually, as Attorney General of the United States.
It's happening right as we speak. Procter & Gamble's being accused of discrimination after it was found that they're paying a black-owned contractor company far, far less. just almost half the amount.
It's ironically 3/5. So they've come up with this little 3/5 compromise, I guess you would call it, for this black-owned contractor doing the same thing for Procter & Gamble that all of these other white-owned businesses are doing. And it's not like they were late to the game. This company, again, owned by this black individual, has been doing business with Procter & Gamble since 1987.
What is the company?
They do contract packaging, excuse
Okay.
me, for Procter & Gamble. It's QAI is the
Okay.
name of the company.
So how do you come up with this formula? It's owned by African Americans. Let's now pay them. How much less is it?
They're getting 60% of what the others get, so 3/5.
Yeah, okay. So, but you know, I saw this story. You know what it reminded me of, Farron? It reminded me of what we're seeing, this virtue signaling from all of these companies. I mean, you see, look, you expect virtue signaling from celebrities in Hollywood. My God, don't you get tired of it? It just is endless, this virtue signaling. But corporate America has picked up on the idea, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Let's do some virtue signaling. Give me some examples.
Well, right. Well, before that too, though, Procter & Gamble, to your point here, they've got all kinds of pages online about how they're an all-inclusive company, no discrimination, zero tolerance. We accept everybody. We treat everybody fairly. And that is, as you say, that's their virtue signaling. Because when you get into the documents, when you start seeing what's, on paper, it has nothing to do with reality. And this month, we see it happening with corporations all across the country because it's Pride Month, so everybody changes their logos to the rainbow flag,
Right.
acting like we're so inclusive, we care so deeply. No, they don't. None of these corporations give a damn about anything except for dollars.
I think of Exxon. You know, you did the Exxon story. I don't know anybody. Honestly, I don't know anybody who knows more about Exxon than Farron Cousins. But you've done these stories about what Exxon knew all the way back to the 50s, about they knew that global warming was taking place. They knew exactly what it was. They knew that they were in part responsible. Fossil fuels were responsible. But Exxon, tell me what they do with that.
Yeah, they take all that money they make destroying the planet, they go to the corporate media, they buy these ads touting Exxon's research into renewable energy. And it's got all kinds of fun graphics and animations showing we're making fuels from biofuels. We're looking into solar. They're not doing any of that. They're hoodwinking the public into thinking they're one thing. But again, just like Procter & Gamble behind closed doors, they couldn't care less.
Amazon, same story. Disney, same story. I mean, the PR firms have this down pretty well. And you know what? It works. I mean, it does work.
Yeah.
What it does is it creates doubt because you don't have enough, most people don't have enough information. It's not their fault. They simply don't have the backstory and they don't have the information to really figure out what's going on. But this virtue signaling is like an all-time high.